Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good Sinful Sunday today. This is my Ministry of Infernal Affairs Sinful Sunday broadcast that I do from our National Office YouTube channel. And today, I have an interesting thing to speak about in my little Master Counselor's Book of Subjects, right? And today I'm going to talk about how Satanists interact with the demonic realm. Wow. Interesting thing to talk about, huh? Now, to find out more information about the demons from the Brotherhood's perspective and from Druwydion Pendragon's perspective, you're going to want to go to our blog at brotherhoodofsatan.us, and you're going to want to read what I write about the demons themselves. Okay? And I do discuss invocation of demons and evocation of the demons and what those two differences are, and much, much more about interacting with demons and understanding the different attributes that each demon has. Each individual demon has its own attributes. That's a fact. And a wise demonologist is going to study everything about the demons inside and out. So today I'm talking about how Satanism should relate and interact with the demonic realm. How Satanists should, whether you're a satanic witch or a Satanist, right? Because both persuasions utilize the summoning or wanting to connect and be aligned with various demonic entities. Okay. First thing I'm going to mention, and this goes back again to the theistic controversy there always is, right, between our two movements. If you're utilizing demons and you're practicing with demons, okay, you have to then be a wise enough demonologist, right, which entails a study of demons and the demonic origins of where these demons actually came from and where the first human beings actually made a reference to these demons, right, in some historical way, whether they were writing it down, whether it was carved on stone, whether it was illustrated on the temple walls back in the mystery schools, etc., right? Okay. Now, the one thing I want to stress is atheistic Satanism has this non-belief in Satan in the first place. But yet, a lot of them still practice demonology because they're still going through the motions of doing a satanic ritual. Now, that makes absolutely no sense to Drew, but they do it. Okay. But let me say this. If the demons were only a figment of human imagination, then we had entire cultures on this planet, on our Mother Earth, that the entire culture believed these things. And they believed that these ancient gods and goddesses, later demonized by the church and called demons later, too many of them had these visions. Too many of them had this legend and lore handed down to them, or it was carved in stone, or it was in the folklore of their own ethnic tribe or whatever. Okay, in their history, in short. Okay, so again, as I say about Satanism, it's an individualistic philosophy that we follow. So you have to determine to yourself then, do you really believe the demons existed or did they not exist? The same as Satan. Do we really believe Satan existed and exists? Or do we think Satan's a figment of man's imagination and we're just atheists? Okay, well, I'm a theistic Satanist. I do believe Satan existed. No, I don't believe Satan was an invention of the Christian church in any way, shape, or form. Satan had different names back then before the name Satan was ever used, or Satan, right? A vibratory word of power that referred to an old and ancient god, Satan. Okay. Before that. All right. So, my comments about the demons today to everybody is because I'm getting messages from the demons. And the demons are saying, Drew, this is what we need to be speaking about out there. If you're going to be in social media, give people some meat on the bone and explain some things to them. Because a number of them are doing things correctly. Others just don't have any direction at all, really don't have the focus and the, what you want to call it, the focus and the follow through to accomplish what they need to accomplish when it comes to demonic work. Okay. Okay, so I see, this is what Drew sees. And this is relevant to every Satanist and every satanic witch. Okay. There's various ways we're going to interact with the demons. The first way is on a personal level. Our own personal persona. Regardless of gender backing or alternative gender or any of that comes into play. It first begins with us and our interacting with particular demons. Now, in our working with demons, we're going to find ones we lean towards and we have more of an affinity with. Now, I can tell you as a wise Satanist, those are the demons that you should be working with. The ones that you are close to and that you have seen a response back from that are close to you. Stay working with them. Drew does. Stay working with them. Okay. Now, that's the individual focus that Satanism should focus on when it comes to demonic working. So we're individuals. We will develop an individual rapport with who? The individual demons. No, they're not all one demon, even though we call them legion, because they are many. Okay. So that brings us to the next focus a Satanist or satanic witch should have about the demons, right? Now, if you're a male or if you're a female in this incarnation, we may find affinity with demons and demonesses that are more have more of attributes that are of the dark divine feminine, or for a male, maybe more towards Satan, the horned gods, a more masculine direction, perhaps. Okay, and this is absolutely the way that you should develop your rapport with demons. Okay, so a lot of female priestesses and high priestesses that Drew knows personally, that I know, they'll have an affinity towards one or more of these dark goddesses, which we know are still demonesses. Okay, so you're going to have followers and believers of Hecate, Naamah, Lilith, just to mention some, right? Sekhmet, okay, there's a few. The Morrigan, the list goes on. And we may have an affinity towards that one particular entity, particularly female witches. They do tend to lean towards the persona of a strong, archetypal, powerful entity that represents the dark feminine. Okay. Now, a male Satanist, we may lean towards, like I said earlier, the horned god, and we may lean towards Satan. Any number of the horned gods, be it Cernunnos, Pan, Dionysus, any of those horned gods. And we may lean more towards, Satan, Lucifer, Belial, the ones that have some more male aspects to them or attributes to them. Okay. And that's how we're developing then and interacting with the demons and demonesses. Okay. Then it brings us to the actual last part of what I'm saying about the demons, right? For any Satanist and satanic witch. The last part is the balance of both of them, right? No matter what gender you are. There you go. So you also are going to have those affinities, okay, generally from the gender that you are. And this doesn't mean that alternative genders can't identify the same way or that way too. They can. Okay. That are more, that you may be more attuned to because of your own gender too, that you feel you have a stronger connection with, right? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's see. A good example, like I said earlier, Lilith, right? Lilith is a demoness. Lilith is an ancient goddess, the mother of the Brotherhood, in fact, mother of all demons, in fact. And of course, any priestess and high witch, female witch, priestess, high priestess, they're going to have that affinity because of strength, right? Now, in Satanism, we do teach about strength. So these demonesses that should be emulated then, no matter, of course, what gender you are, would be these ones of strength, right? Now, on the feminine side, the ladies they're going to lean towards Lilith. Who's Lilith? The persona of strength. She teaches women of her own about their own goddesshood. Okay. So this is the way Satanists are actually going to interact with the demons. And this is very important, as Drew's saying, right? So we have more than one way. And it really doesn't depend on gender, but yet gender does come into the picture somewhat, right? Partially there. Because you can still identify with those demons and demonesses that have those attributes, whether it's masculine or feminine. But remember what Drew said. Your interaction with the demons, too, shouldn't just be genderized one way or the other. Okay, and some demons actually are very androgynous, too. I will add that. So there's why Drew is saying, basically, another thing our Baphomet actually represents. It's an androgynous god and goddess. Wow, did Drew say it? Absolutely, I said it, because it's true. Okay. So what we're looking for almost is that androgynous energy, right? And looking at the demons. To me, that creates a big B for balance, right? So we're going to have those affinities from those different directions on a personal level as an individual Satanist or satanic witch, right? Either towards the dark feminine, towards the dark masculine, and even that balance, okay, of both. And that's through how you're going to build up your rapport with the demonic realm. Okay, and that's, now I see a lot of people, particularly in social networks, that are doing this. And you know what? Kudos to that, because actually you're on the right path. If you do feel that you have that direct affinity with a particular demon, make sure, that you honor them, you study their attributes, you know who they are. Matters everything in your interaction with the demon to know who that demon is. That's why in the Brotherhood of Satan, we stress the research in demonology as strongly as we do when you move into our clergy offices, our clergy levels, lower and higher. And we tell people, demonic research, demonology is an ongoing life craft. Wow, did Drew say an ongoing life craft demonology is? I absolutely fucking said that. Because if you're a Satanist, you are going to use the demons, whether they're the demons within or the demons without. And for a theistic Satanist, we have the best of both worlds. We have the demons within from evocation, and we have the demons without that were the demons within from invocation, and the demons without from evocation, right? Because we're summoning demons, and in many cases to a physical form, which is evocating, okay? Evoking, not invoking. Again, When you develop a rapport with demonology, now Drew stressed this a lot of times and probably can't stop stressing it, because I'm also an occultist. I'm not just a satanic witch, okay, and dark druid and other things. I'm also an occultist. So I stress a lot of these kind of different ways of looking at things. You know, when you develop that rapport, your individualistic rapport with the demons, that's when you have a demon come in your life. Now, many people ask me, Drew, how do I have a guardian demon? How do I develop a guardian demon? How do I touch base with a guardian demon? How do I, get one to work for me, etc., protect me, so on and so forth, right? Your guardian demon is going to actually appear for you when you're a sincere and serious Satanist. There'll come a time in your own individualistic path, your own satanic path, that, believe me, that guardian demon or demoness is going to introduce themselves. Again, based on what they sense and can tell from you, okay? Their senses are enhanced, much like a dog's senses are more acute than the human being's senses. Think about the demonic realm, guys. They can go back and forth in between dimensions even. You think for a minute they don't have senses that are even stronger than our human senses? So they can tell when within your black flame you are not being true to yourself, or true to the demons, or true to Satan, true to Lilith. They can tell. Matters a lot on your own sincerity and your own seriousness when working with the demons. Again, a lot of people say, Drew, I've done so many demonic rituals and so many satanic rituals and summoned demons and invoked the demons. Well, first of all, they're not sure about invoking and evoking in the first place. So they're bringing a lot of demons inside themselves. That much they're accomplishing because they're doing invocation. Okay. But they'll ask me about these things. And my answers are always the same. You need to know the demons. They need to know you. Now, there's one way to do that. That really is felicitated from practical usage of demonic and satanic ritual, correct? And interacting with the demons on a regular basis. That's the best way to learn about those demons. Okay? And getting the demon to cooperate with you. Let me go on something else, which is basically demonology 101. The demon is not going to cooperate with you every single time it's the first time you summon that demon. Okay? Don't think that you summoned that demon or demoness the very first time and you're going to get the cooperation from them that you think you should get. You may believe you deserve it. They may not believe you deserve it yet. You don't give up, though. What that demon wants to see, much like Satan, is that you are serious about what you're doing. That you're a real believer. You don't have a grain of doubt in your mind when you're either invoking or evoking them. And they know who takes the time and effort, does the discipline training, does the research, and understands and learns how to invoke or evoke them properly. The demons know it. They're interdimensional powers, okay? And you can't say they never existed. You can't say Satan never existed. That would make entire cultures just plain crazy. Now, somehow, me being a historian also, I just somehow have a very hard time grasping that. I have a very hard time putting a grasp on that. All these ancient cultures were just plain nuts, right? They never did exist. It was all the figment and archetype of their mind or whatever that atheists and Satanists would like to try to say. No possible fucking way the entire culture was crazy, everybody. And not just one culture, lots of cultures that our demons and demonesses came from. And let me say another thing. Their technology was so far advanced than ours in some of these cultures. Believe me, the builders were there. And the builders had a rapport, just like Drew's explaining right now to you guys. The builders had a rapport with the demons too. Because guess who taught the builders? Absolutely was the demons. Yes, they fucking existed. They taught us the building trades, how to build these ancient temples the way they wanted them. And geometrically perfect on top of that. And to be total alignment with celestial bodies on top of that. Sorry. These things were not gifted to the early human cultures unless we had this interaction from the demons. That's how these things were introduced to us. Okay. Develop your rapport with the demons. Very, very strong thing to do. Okay. Very strong thing to do. I may be doing another video that might be a little more extensive about it. It might be more aligned with my blog. But to find out more about the demons, go to our blog at brotherhoodofsatan.us. Read Drew's blog on the demons. Okay. And I talk to people how to interact with them and the differences between evocation and invocation. And to understand the different attributes each demon or demoness is aligned with when it comes to the elemental powers per se. That's also included, right? You want to know those things too when you're developing a rapport with the demons. Now, this is what I mean about the demons knowing what you're really thinking or what you know or don't know. Okay. Now, what's Drew mean by that? Okay. Let's see. I'm going to summon Typhon. Wow. Or Dagon. Right? Which are known to be demonesses of what? The watery abyss. Leviathan included. Okay. Okay. You don't summon a demon that is a demon or demoness that's associated with the water element in a fucking fire direction. You're totally insulting the demon. And not only will you get your ass bit, your magic will not work. In fact, the demon probably going to teach you a good lesson in demonology about knowing what you're doing to an absolute science almost, a satanic science though, because it's a satanic science that says connect all these things together. I'm a way shower. I can show you these things and I can talk about these things to you, but I want you to think for yourself, right? But I'm going to be telling you the right stuff, okay? That's what you can count on with me. You have my satanic word of honor on my parents' graves that I'm going to teach the truth, okay? But these things I'm saying are all true, okay? And so developing that rapport, like I said, you're going to have an affinity sometimes to the dark feminine demonesses. You may have an affinity to the more darker aspects of the God side or of Satan, Lucifer, what more male aspects. And then you're going to want to make sure, so you have 1, 2, and 3, right? But you're going to want to make sure that third one is balanced. Well, you're working with both demons and demonesses. Okay. But yeah, you're going to have some you have a little closer affinity with. Like I told you, be working with them. They're wanting to work with you there by them already showing you that. You'll get the senses, you'll get those feelings. And let me tell you another way demons communicate. It's an enhanced way. All humans have 5 senses. The demons will enhance all of your 5 senses. Okay, let's just say it that way. Drew's right about this too, guys. And when I tell you, try to develop clairvoyant vision, okay? If you're not clairvoyant already, this is how Drew sees the demons, because I developed my clairvoyant vision from a young boy all the way to today. That's why I can see the demons. Not everybody can, because their clairvoyant vision's not been developed. And I'm always saying to people, if you're going to know demonology, do it hand in hand with a study of clairvoyant vision, so you can actually see them. Oftentimes, the demon's going to appear different ways, okay? Let me explain something about interdimensional beings or demonic beings, okay? That's how they travel back and forth from the time that they lived back in the ancient cultures on through today. They don't die, okay? They don't die, but they're interdimensional. That's how they're still alive to us today in the human psyche, right? That's how they're still alive. They have never died. Now, can you get them to come over from their dimension to our dimension? From the hatical realm, as I would call it, and the Brotherhood calls it? Yeah, we can. They have to want to, also. They have to want to. Okay. In another little probably note I would add about the usage of demonology, understand that the demons that are considered under the word bane or more destructive demons, don't play with those demons. Do not dabble with demons like that. That are their attributes are destructive. Use them for that purpose. Use them only for a destructive purpose if you're going to summon them. Okay? And it's not wise to invoke a destructive demon either. Now, here's where people like Drew that know their shit can also show you the way in a proper way, okay? Think about that for 1 second, what Drew just said. Evoke them to protect yourself. And you may summon them as a guardian demon anytime, because they've already developed that rapport with you. The Brotherhood has 13 guardian demons. No, not all of them are destructive, but some of them evidently, absolutely are, such as Abaddon. Okay? And we can summon Abaddon as a guardian demon along with these other demons without any conflict of interest between the demons or the demons getting upset with us or between themselves, because we're summoning them as guardian demons. Okay. But on the individual level, again, only use those destructive demons to protect yourself, your coven, your family, someone close to you, when it becomes cause and effect. That means somebody else has already attacked you first. And evoke them. You're summoning them. You're not trying to bring them into yourself. Very baneful magic on a physical level and on an individual level for a Satanist to do that without understanding these things. Okay. Probably my only adverse thing I had to say about the Satanic Bible authored by Dr. LaVey is he had everybody doing all this invocation to Satan without explaining the difference of evocation and invocation, and had them all summoned together. You're invoking them all together. And then younger teenagers that studied the Satanic Bible and dabbled with it and stuff like that ended up going to jail, drug addiction, suicide, whatever. The demons aren't to be played with. They're to be studied, respected, developed the right rapport with, used in the proper manner. If you, as a Satanist and satanic witch, can develop that rapport with the Satan, with the demons as a Satanist, then you're starting to learn mastery of demonology. That's your first step, to be able to master demonology. If you don't develop a rapport with the demons, they know it. They know when you're a false person. They know your intention or will. And they'll know if it's wrong. Okay. Just a little words of wisdom from Drew on this Sinful Sunday. I am a minister of infernal affairs with Brotherhood of Darkness. This is one of the outreach things that I do with as a minister of infernal affairs. Broadcasting from our national office YouTube page, which is new, by the way. I invite everybody to come here as much as you want to. These thought-provoking discussions that Drew does, I'm going to continue to be doing them. Okay. And understand I have no ulterior motive of what I do other than I'm a way shower. So I have no purpose to misguide anybody, mislead anybody, feed you all misinformation and disinformation. To the contrary, the Brotherhood's about telling you all the truth. Okay. Well, in a world today where there's so many fabrications going on, okay, many fake people, and we have a gift called the internet for us to interact with each other as Satanists and be able to connect with other Satanists all over the world now. That's a wonderful thing. The adverse side of that, however, is people like generational Satanism, people like us, have a hard time knowing who's real and who's not, okay, because people are fakes. Okay, people will come out with fake profiles quite a bit. This is also why we have two offline festivals a year that we do invite people to come to, where we can meet you and you can meet us. We do our dedication right. We do our initiations and moving people up in the lower and higher clergy at these events as well. They're vehicles for those things. But the reasons we have those events is so people can know us and we can know you. I can't tell you, from being out on the internet now since 2003, how many people have came out, parading as somebody they're not, okay, and using all kinds of different names. And I'm afraid, my friends, somebody's coming out as Satanist Belial, you don't really know who that person is. And if it's a good motivation, it's a good motivation. But if it's not a good motivation, it's not a good motivation, right? And we'll never know till that person shows their hand. All right? So, with the Brotherhood of Satan, you get what you see. Simple as that with us. Much of our secrecy, it was only because of why generationals keep secrets, is because a lot of things were passed down to our own families, and so a lot of it was oral tradition to boot. But it was mostly because of persecution. We've been Satanists and satanic witches, particularly, been persecuted our whole lives, guys. The need for secrecy is pretty important, actually, and it is one of the four cornerstones of the witch's pyramid. That's never going to change. Okay, you're going to have mysteries that are only for the initiates. They'll always be kept from the profane. Then you can have general information the Brotherhood will put out, such as these kind of videos that Drew does. That information we don't mind being public. Because you have to still show authenticity to people. And that as a way shower, Drew has some knowledge. There's a difference between the fakes then and the real, isn't there? The real are going to be consistent. We're going to be out here even if we bore everybody to death. Okay? I'm going to be out here. But the main thing with Drew is you owe it to yourself to watch my videos. I know that can be time consuming. That's because it's very hard to teach something that's tangible and really has a lot of information. Okay, I'll give an example. Necromancy, right? I've already taught our covenant here, Covenant of the Dark Arts, a really good necromantic class on necromancy. But after I did that, I also came to the realization in my own study of it, and wanting to present the very best class as possible, that it was much, much more of an extensive subject matter than the class I did. And so I want to actually share another class. It's Necromancy Explored, right? That's going to be a lot more extensive. Okay. So what I'm getting at here is, there's a lot more to the information we can share. Okay. And we share things outside of the Brotherhood. We share things inside the Brotherhood. And that's the way we have to always be, because we are the Brotherhood. If we were doing something different than the way you see Drew and Raven do things, we wouldn't be the Brotherhood. We'd be a bunch of fakes. We wouldn't be real, guys. We're uniquely Brotherhood, okay? And our presentations will always be that way. The things we do will always be that way. But being a Brotherhood of knowledge, we're trying to show you guys by our consistency in what we do, and the things we do tell people, particularly leadership pointers. Those are really important points. The things I stress about satanic leadership, per se. Not everybody's a satanic leader. They have to grow into being a satanic leader. I wasn't born a satanic leader. I became one in my early teens. And then I stayed becoming a satanic leader because the process is continuing as ongoing continuation. You're learning and learning and learning. Okay. So, again, don't sell the demons short. Okay. By not utilizing them correctly or just dabbling with them, playing with them, just like dabbling with spellcraft or something. And you wonder why the results can be disastrous afterwards. It's because you're not doing it right, you're not doing it correctly, or you're not following your lunar phases for increase or decrease when you're summoning entities and spiritual entities and demons. There's a lot of things, and they do take those things as disrespect. Because I feel we're a Satanist. Who are we? Those that have risen above the herd of humanity to take our own divine and demonic place as gods and goddesses upon this planet. And we are the ones that are above the herd of humanity. Why? We think for ourselves. Yeah. In our wanting to think for ourselves, we must make sure that we always respect the demons. And in thinking for ourselves, we have to handle our rapport with the demons properly. Give them the respect that they demand, okay? And you, my satanic friend and brother and sister, are going to be just fine. The demons will want to work with you and will want to cooperate with you. And again, like I said, kudos to those of you I see out there with Hecate groups and Lilith groups, and you've found an affinity with one dark feminine demon or demoness or goddess and god that you are aligned with, you feel closeness to. Follow that. Okay, follow that internal energy that's telling you, your intuition, your witch's intuition. Follow that. If you're working real well with one or more demonic or god entities, okay, stay working with them like True said. They're going to bring you in as a loving child. All right, everybody. I hope I didn't waste everybody's time today, but just a few, comments I wanted to make about demons, particularly in our own interaction with them, and the three main ways that we would interact with demons and stuff like that, right? As a human being, that's the same. What would our mannerism be? What would we, how would our thinking actually be? What's our thought form on them, really? Okay. Thanks everybody for your time. I do promise to do, most likely do my information about demons that is in our blog. I'm probably going to make that into a video at some point because it's more extensive, in talking about demonology and our interaction with them and all. Very wise blog, actually, written by yours truly, not written by somebody else. And I'll probably, publish that video sometime in the coming future. I have other things here in my little Master Counselor's Book of Devilish Deeds. I got a lot of things coming up that I'm going to be talking about. Here's one on satanic ethics, for instance. We're going to be talking about occult symbology, which within Satanism, occult symbology is very, very important. It doesn't mean we're symbolic Satanists only, though, because we know the symbols reflect something, right? So included in occult symbology, of course, would be what? What would be occult symbology that's really, really important to Satanists and satanic witches? Oh, demonic sigils. Symbols, individual characters from those demons themselves, right? Okay, we'll go. You get where I'm going. All right, everybody. That's going to be a good class, too, a little discussion, I should say, once we talk about that. Thanks to everybody for your time today. I'm doing this again, like I said, as a minister of infernal affairs. This is part of what I do. I'm a good master counselor. I'm going to do what I got to do. I hope everybody's having a great summer. We're going to be going into autumn. I'm already feeling the thinning of the veil. This is Drew's most powerful time of the year. I'm going to autumn. I won't go into why. You can imagine for yourself. You think about it for your own self, and you probably come up to with the right answers. But thank you all for your time today. I'm glad to have been here again on Sunday. I'll be with you again next Sunday. We got a great fest coming up for Harvest Home in September. Wish everybody could make that if you all wanted to, but it's a terrible economy. But as a Satanist, keep your head up. Okay? Nothing stays the same. Everything changes. That's why there is a whole seasonal cycle. What does it represent? Not just the eternal return, right? It's of the dark feminine. Not just the eternal return. It shows us the cycles of change throughout an entire year. Okay? And change is transformation and growth, too. Change doesn't always mean it's a terrible life thing to deal with. Okay? It's another thing as a Satanist you'll learn as you mature more in Satanism. You'll rise above some of these things that, our life experiences that we go through. Okay? In our younger and our intermediary years. Just when you start understanding the real, all of it. When you reach this status right here, old man of the mountain, Drew. Okay. But anyways, and the only one I can thank for this, besides my, physical family, for teaching me properly as a brother in Satanist and generational Satanism. But the ones I can thank, of course, my mother Lilith, and Satan, Samael. I owe everything to them. All right. Hail Satan, everybody. Remember what Drew's saying? Always hail Satan first, then hail yourself. Hailing yourself and hailing Satan are the exact same thing. That's where people fucking miss the points of the horns, right? Okay. So don't forget, always hail Satan first, then hail yourself. May everybody live long and prosper, ad majorem sanctam et gloriam, to the greater glory of Satan always. May you all live long and prosper, be in good health with good cheer. By witch's honor, These words I say are true. Dark blessings, one and all. I got to say one last remark. Those that watch the movie Star Wars, you notice how good was pit against evil and so on and so forth. But the real thing that was of note was one thing: the Force or the Source. Which one is it? The Force can be light, the Force can be dark. So there is the only difference that Star Wars made that was not exactly truthful. Because the Force is two-sided. It's constructive and destructive. But it's all transformational. Satan, in many cases, can be looked in that way. Satan's dark matter. He moves energy. He is energy, just like we are. So our Brotherhood always says everything is vibration and energy. That includes our demons. Treat them the same way that you want to be treated. Develop a rapport with them. You will go far as a Satanist. Hail Satan. Thank you all for your time.